I've really started to love Texas, but there are a couple weird things about Texas. For example, did you know that there is a place in Burton where you can cuddle with baby cows? Thank you for the validation. Now that is one place that 830 didn't do. Good job, awesome. You've just legitimized it. So just imagine adorable little baby cows that you can cuddle with, which sounds awesome until you realize that they also have a farm-to-table restaurant there. So you can cuddle with them and then you can have a medium rare. Yeah, that is not farm to table. That is a meet and greet with your entree. That's like LinkedIn for cattle, really. It's like speed dating with consequences is probably the way I would put it. But I'm picturing bringing my daughter there, when she was smaller and she's got the baby cow and she's like, "Oh, Dad, I love this cow. Oh, I just love him. I'm going to name him Pickles." It is so adorable. She's giving that cow a future, and you're giving it a side of mashed potatoes. So it's good. So you finally get to the restaurant, and this is the way I picture it. The waiter comes out with the menu, but you start looking at it, but it doesn't read like a menu. It reads like a betrayal list. And the waiter comes over and you realize you don't need a waiter at that point. You need a therapist. It's bad. But the food's good. The food's actually pretty good there, I bet. I bet it tastes a little bit like closure. And, but you're curious, okay? You're curious. You have to know. And so the waiter comes over. You don't want to say this in front of the daughter. You're like, "Hey, is there any chance that this is Pickles?" And the waiter gives you a look and says, "Sir, that is exactly why you do not name the animals. You don't do that. And I see you're real concerned about Pickles. Where's the concern for that chicken your daughter's eating? That chicken had dreams too." But it was finished for Pickles, and that's the name of the sermon. It is finished. Pickles was finished. I know that's sad. There's trauma here this morning at Bandera Methodist Church. One more thing about cows before I move on. I found out something awesome about cows this week. I really found that out this week. Did you know that male cows don't make milk?
Yeah.
Y'all are acting like you already knew that. Okay. Well, I had to Google it, and I said, "Google, do male cows make milk?" Because HUD told me, and I didn't believe him, and I asked Google, and Google did not respond. Instead, it tried to send me back to elementary school. That was embarrassing. So I asked it again. I asked Siri. I said, "Siri, do male cows make milk?" And Siri didn't answer. She just sighed. But anyway, I think I've milked these jokes as long as I can. Yeah, okay, all right. But it was finished for Pickles. It was finished. Have you ever had that moment where it was finished? It was finished. Maybe you were in a bad relationship. That dude was not treating you the right way. And so finally, you pretended you were a part of the Beyonce song. To the left, everything you own in a box to the left. Same thing at 8:30. Y'all are not Beyonce people here in Bandera. I'm noticing that, and I'm learning from my experiences. So let me put this in a country western way here. You ever had that job? Where you finally said, "It is finished. I'm done here." And so you go up to your boss and you say, "Take this job and..." Oh, you dog! Those are my people. The ones who said it. I can't get in trouble for that, right? Okay, good. It was finished, though. It was finished. It was all finished. It's all finished. But we're making light of it. But "it is finished" can also be a very serious thing. I'm thinking about the athlete who has the injury and is sitting in the doctor's office. And the doctor says, "Well, we can do the surgery, but not many people come back from this." And so the athlete goes home and it suddenly hits him that it's finished. Think about, that's all you've ever known. You've always been known as the star. You've always been known, this is your label. This is who you are. This is who you are as a person. You are the star athlete, and all of a sudden, it's over. It's finished. As a pastor, I meet with a lot of families who are planning funerals. And it never fails. It never, ever, you can tell it does not hit them in this process. They'll come in and they're overstimulated. They're like, okay, we got to choose the songs. Oh, we really like the scripture. Okay, do we have a pianist? Do we have this? And they're planning everything. They're answering phone calls. They're telling people about it. They're just busy, busy, busy. Hasn't even hit yet. It's just busy. But then there's that moment, and it happens at different times for different people. But a lot of times it happens at the graveside. And it's a different moment for everybody, where it just hits that it's finished. Maybe it's when you take the flower and you put it on the casket. Maybe it's, I've seen some of them where the loved one gets the dirt and you're the first person to put it on. But there's always that moment where it hits. It's finished. I'm never going to see this person again. All the laughs, all the good times, it's finished. I can imagine that that's what the followers of Jesus were thinking. The last thing that Jesus said, or the almost last thing that Jesus said from the cross, we've been going through this series of the 7 things that Jesus said at the cross, and it is finished is the one I say for Easter. It's an Easter message. And so Jesus, with some of his last breaths, he's struggling to breathe. And he's looking around, he's looking at all the people, the soldiers, and I want to know who he was looking at when he said it. I don't know if he was looking at God, maybe, probably. Maybe he was looking at his mother, maybe he was looking at John. But he says 3 words. It is finished. I wonder how they took him. I wonder how you would have taken him. All your hopes, all the dreams, this is the Messiah, this is the one. This is the one that was going to free us from Israel. This is the one that was going to make everything right. This is the one who was going to bring his kingdom about upon earth. This is the one that did the miracles. This is the one that we can put our hopes in, our dreams in. But now it is finished. So Jesus dies, there's an earthquake. Tombs are opened, the veil is torn. The Roman centurion looks up at the cross and says, surely this was the Son of God. But then there's a rush. I don't think we ever in the church really picture this rush the right way. I want you to imagine if the person you loved died and someone told you, you better get that body in the ground. It is almost the Sabbath. Let's get a move on it. I mean, could you even imagine? They are taking the body down quickly. They're doing the ropes, doing whatever they can do. Nicodemus is running over here. Joseph says, hey, I got somewhere to bring them. They've got the cloths, the myrrh, and the aloe. And I can picture, the people going, hey, hurry up. Sun's almost down. Sabbath is about to start. Get him in there. And so they get some people to try to move the stone. I mean, you talk about it not settling in, that it's really finished. All they are is busy. And so they move the rock, the stone, the seal is put there, and it is finished. Go back home. Can you imagine Friday night? I bet nobody slept. I wonder who was there. I wish I knew. I bet there was a lot of coming and going. Maybe a couple disciples there. And then by Saturday, everybody's tired. I don't know if you've ever been there where everybody's blaming each other. You should have done something. Hey, could you not tell them that Jerusalem was dangerous? Maybe we could have skipped the Passover. Peter, I mean, you said all you could do is cut an ear off. Really? That's all you could do? The rest of you didn't do anything. At least I had a sword. Y'all just ran. How did he do those miracles? We really thought he was the one. We've put our lives into this. I left my occupation, my hopes, my dreams. It is all finished. That's what those words meant. It's finished. Life's over. Everything you thought you believed, everything. I always wonder, why was there nobody at the tomb when Jesus was resurrected? You know, you've seen all those miracles. You've heard Jesus say that he was going to be resurrected. You heard him say this over and over again. You got all the clues, but not one person camped out with just a small little hope that something amazing might happen. I mean, we camp out for tickets to Tennessee, Florida football games in Knoxville. I mean, if we could do that, we could at least camp out to see something like the resurrection. But nobody was there. Why? Because they knew what death looked like. I don't care how many miracles you do. A dead body is a dead body. How do you bring yourself back to life? No, it was finished. It was hopeless. If they had hope, they would have been there. It was over. It was finished. Have you ever been in that moment? Every single person here has a different moment. So just think about yours as I share mine. One of my moments where it was finished was I was married and I didn't go to church. I wasn't living the life that I was supposed to live at that time. And I went through a divorce. And you know how it is. You always like, should we try to work this out? Can we do this? Can we do that? And you know, you don't want to, but finally the papers come and you sign them. And it's finished. All those hopes, everything that you planned, finished. I'm at my mom's grave. I'm just like the illustration I gave earlier. It hasn't hit me yet. I'm just like the people that I pastor. I'm one of them. And I'm standing there after the funeral, after the graveside, probably about 2 weeks later, and I start crying. Because it was finished. And it wasn't just that my mom was gone. It was like the finishing of an entire era. You know, the era of going to Nana's house and taking my kids there and enjoying all the holidays and all that stuff. It was just finished. It would never be the same. You've been there. I don't know what it is for you. Maybe it's the job. Maybe it's family. But you've been there. It's finished. But somewhere, Saturday night, it is finished changes its definition. The women go to the tomb. They see that something different. The seal has been broken. The stone has been moved. And there's an angel or two sitting there. And they don't understand it. And so the angel looks at them and says, "Why are you here looking for the living among the dead? That doesn't make any sense. He's risen just like he told you he would be. You goofballs. Why are you here looking for him?" And so then Jesus starts appearing to people. He appears to Peter. He appears to James. He appears to all the disciples. Paul says he appears to 500 people at one time. And it is finished completely changes its meaning. Those 3 words, "it is finished," are some of the most powerful words in the entire Bible. It is finished. Do you know what "it is finished" means? Jesus said that right before he died. It was the most important thing. It is finished. It is finished means that every single thing you've done wrong your entire life is gone. Every single time you gave in to that temptation, every single time you yelled at your kids and you felt bad about it, every single time that you've prayed for forgiveness for something over and over again, thinking that what I did was so bad, I've got to keep saying this, and God is saying, it is finished. It is over. That pain that you bring out of that relationship, let it go. It is finished. I know it hurts that you can't play baseball anymore, that you can't play football anymore. It is finished. Let it go. I know that person hurt you. It is finished. It's finished. It's the most important words, and they're the words that are the hardest for us to fully grasp what they mean. It is finished. It means something different for all of us. Some of us have been hurt by a church before. We've been to a church. Some of us have been kicked out of a church before. We've had some kind of thing go on, and we have walked away from the church, and we have said, God, I love you. I believe in Jesus. I know that Jesus rose from the grave. There's a lot of evidence for that. But when it comes to the church, it is finished. It's finished. But it is finished this morning means let it go. Let it go. The invitation that I gave at 8:30 is to ask yourself right now in your hearts, what do you need to let go? What is finished that you're hanging on to? Who's the person that you need to call? The forgiveness that they don't deserve that you can give anyway. Maybe for you, it is finished means to let the bad church experience go and to give another church a chance. And I can tell you, if you're thinking about this church, we're pretty messed up. I mean, just look who the pastor is. You know, every single church is full of hypocrites. It's true. But we got 3 empty pews over here. We're waiting for more hypocrites to come. Join us. Now, churches are very imperfect places, but God calls us to be a part of one. And so if you're looking for one, shoot me an email this week. Maybe it is finished to you means to let the past go and to look at the future. Maybe it is finished means to let the argument go. Maybe it means the past that you think is so bad that Jesus died for everything else but that. Let it go. Let the failure go. Let the hurt go. Let the animosity go. For a lot of us, it's let the bitterness go. Guys, gals, life is too short. We're reminded more and more every day how short life is. So Jesus says to you this morning, it's finished. It's a simple message. Pastor Tim, there's not much theology here. There's not much thought-provoking stuff. No. That's the beauty of Christianity. That's the beauty. It's so simple it has to be true. There was a man who physically rose from the grave. Tons of witnesses, tons of evidence. And that man who rose from the grave looks at you this morning alive and says, stop being stubborn. It's finished. Amen. And so now we come to this table, and I love communion on Easter because one of my favorite stories is the stories of the road to Emmaus. And I love it because they're walking with the stranger. They don't know who it is. It's funny when you think about it. They don't know who it is, but they're just talking, and they finally get home. And where do they recognize who it is? At the table. The stranger takes the bread and breaks it. And there's something about the way he breaks the bread. Their eyes are opened and they see that it is Jesus. And so my prayer this morning as we approach the table is that for some of us, we'll have that moment. We'll have the moment where we finally admit to ourselves, Jesus is real. And he's got a calling on our lives. And he will meet us here.